Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a play. It was a Saturday afternoon in Week 16 of the NFL season, and the Washington Commanders were facing the Philadelphia Eagles in what was shaping up to be a critical matchup for both teams. The tension in the stadium was palpable, not just because of the playoff implications or the storied rivalry between these franchises, but because the Commanders were heading into this game without one of their key offensive leaders. Quarterback Jayden Daniels, who had been a steady presence under center, was officially ruled out for the remainder of the season, leaving the team to navigate the high-stakes world of the NFL with a backup quarterback at the helm. The weight of responsibility fell squarely on the shoulders of veteran signal caller Marcus Mariota, a player who had seen his fair share of pressure situations throughout his career, yet now faced a situation that tested both his skill and resilience. From the opening kickoff, Mariota was orchestrating a competitive offensive showing, keeping the Commanders within striking distance of the Eagles in a game that ultimately remained a one-score contest through much of the afternoon. The fans were on the edge of their seats as Mariota guided the team down the field, demonstrating poise and leadership despite the uncertainty surrounding the quarterback depth chart. However, the drama escalated quickly. On a pivotal play midway through the second quarter, Mariota suffered simultaneous injuries to his quadriceps and throwing hand, forcing him out of the game in an instant. This sudden development sent shockwaves through the Commanders' sideline and left head coach Dan Quinn in a precarious position. Suddenly, the team was down to just one available quarterback for the remainder of the contest, a scenario that most teams hope never to encounter. Enter Josh Johnson, a seasoned backup who had not seen significant live action in quite some time, and whose primary objective now was simply to keep the offense functional and maintain composure in the face of mounting pressure. While Johnson did his best to step up, the looming question for everyone watching closely was clear: what would happen if he too went down? The potential for a full-blown emergency quarterback situation was very real, and for a team already navigating a season filled with unpredictability, the stakes could not have been higher. The natural assumption for most observers might have been that players like wide receiver Luke McCaffrey or tight end Colson Yankoff, both of whom have prior experience playing quarterback, would be next in line to take snaps if Johnson were forced out. These are the types of contingencies every football team prepares for during the course of a long season. Yet, in a cruel twist of fate, neither McCaffrey nor Yankoff were healthy or available at the time, leaving a true vacuum at the quarterback position. The tension on the sideline must have been palpable as coaches and players alike began to consider who, against all odds, would assume the role of emergency quarterback. It is in these moments that football transcends statistics and playbooks, becoming a test of improvisation, courage, and situational awareness. Fans who were witnessing this scenario unfold on live television were likely grappling with the same questions as those on the field. Who exactly would be brave or skilled enough to step into such an unusual and high-pressure role? Dan Quinn later spoke candidly about the situation, acknowledging both the complexity of the emergency quarterback plan and the surreal nature of the scenario. Such an interesting question, Quinn began, his voice reflecting both humor and seriousness. So yes, Luke was of course one, and yes, Yankoff was another, but in the last game, there was no Yank or Luke. So, are you ready for the one that was going to be in the last one? Not quarterback's coach, David Blau, good guess. It was going to be an obviously working in some wildcat, receiver Jalen Lane. The revelation prompted both amusement and disbelief among fans and media alike, as it is not every day that a wide receiver is considered a primary emergency quarterback option in a professional football game. The strategic thought process behind such a choice highlights the improvisational element that coaches like Quinn must embrace when confronted with multiple simultaneous injuries, forcing them to think creatively and anticipate every conceivable scenario. It is important to note that Sam Hartman, another quarterback option who might have seemed logical to some, was not eligible to play in this particular game. He was not on the active roster and had not been elevated from the practice squad, effectively removing him from consideration entirely. Quinn elaborated on the delicate balancing act involved in preparing for contingencies, describing the mental calculations coaches make when assessing the skill sets of non-quarterback personnel. You can imagine my nervousness that took place after one's out and others there. And so, generally in that space, who's had experience taking snaps, handing it off, doing those things. So it was the third emergency into that spot last week, he explained. It is a fascinating glimpse into the layers of planning and preparation that exist behind the scenes in professional football, where every minute detail could be the difference between maintaining composure or spiraling into chaos. During a critical game, as fate would have it, Jalen Lane, the designated third emergency option, was unavailable after sustaining an injury earlier in the game. This led to yet another adjustment, with running back Jeremy McNichols stepping into the role of emergency quarterback if needed. Quinn described this series of changes as an ongoing process of contingency planning that evolves in real time, illustrating just how unpredictable and fluid a football game can be when injuries strike at multiple key positions. So on the first punt of the game, when he's out, that plan changed. And so it became Jeremy McNichols. So there's always contingency planning. That actually went through my head after the first one. Okay, here we go, Quinn noted, his words capturing both the humor and tension inherent in such situations. It is a rare peek into a behind-the-scenes reality that fans often never see, where coaches must make rapid-fire decisions that have lasting consequences on both the outcome of a game and the safety of players. Even with veteran Jeff Driscoll back on the roster for the Commanders in the following week, Quinn confirmed that an emergency quarterback plan will remain in place. Let's keep it in secret for this week, he said, hinting at the strategic importance of keeping opponents uncertain about the team's depth chart, while also signaling the continued importance of preparedness. With Colson Yankoff likely returning from injury, the team's contingency planning becomes slightly more conventional. Yet the experience from Week 16 remains a stark reminder that the NFL is a league in which chaos can strike at any moment. In a season filled with unprecedented injuries and unexpected developments, the Washington Commanders have, at least thus far, avoided the scenario of completely losing all quarterback options. Yet the specter of that possibility looms as they prepare for the final two games. Each practice, each play, and each decision made in the coaching booth carries amplified significance, as players and staff alike know that the next injury could instantly alter the landscape of the team's offensive strategy and, potentially, its playoff hopes. For fans, these moments provide a rare mix of tension, entertainment, and intrigue, as the sport's unpredictability is laid bare. Watching a team navigate a quarterback crisis in real time offers a different kind of excitement, one that transcends statistics and highlights, revealing the mental fortitude, creativity, and quick thinking that define successful coaches and players alike. The story of Week 16 and the Commanders' emergency quarterback scenario will likely linger in the memories of those who witnessed it, not just for the injuries or the outcomes on the field, but for the glimpse it offered into the behind-the-scenes chess game that makes football such a uniquely dramatic sport. As the season winds down, the lessons learned from this experience will inform how the Commanders approach the final games, manage player health, and prepare for any eventuality, all while keeping fans on the edge of their seats and reminding everyone why the NFL remains one of the most compelling leagues in professional sports. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. Chris Olavi is reportedly on his way to the Washington Commanders, and if this rumor turns out to be true, it could completely reshape the landscape of the NFL. Sources whisper that the negotiations have been intense, and the mere possibility of Olavi landing in Washington has sent shockwaves through the league. For years, the Commanders have been searching for that one missing piece to elevate their offensive game, and Chris Olavi, with his explosive speed and uncanny ability to create separation, might just be that piece. People are talking. Analysts are debating. Fans are speculating, and the hype train is already leaving the station. Imagine a team that has struggled to consistently move the ball vertically, suddenly adding a player who can turn a 5-yard gain into a 70-yard touchdown almost effortlessly. The potential is enormous, and the energy around the franchise has gone through the roof. Insiders suggest that Olavi's skill set perfectly complements the Commanders' current offensive scheme. The team has invested heavily in developing a strong quarterback, and adding a receiver like Olavi could finally unlock the type of big play potential that has eluded them for seasons. If this trade happens, the Commanders would not only gain a dynamic weapon, but also signal to the rest of the league that they are serious contenders, willing to make bold moves to change the narrative. And that is exactly the kind of message that gets fans talking and opponents worried. There's even talk that this move could trigger a domino effect, as other teams may scramble to reinforce their own receiving core, fearing that Washington is about to become a legitimate offensive juggernaut. Rumors indicate that the negotiations were far from easy. Multiple sources are hinting that the discussions involved intricate details, including draft picks and potential player swaps. The level of commitment from the Commanders' management seems unprecedented. It's not just a matter of signing a free agent or swapping mid-tier players. This is shaping up to be a strategic chess move that could define the next few seasons for the franchise. Some insiders speculate that Chris Olavi's representatives have been very clear about the type of environment he wants to join. A team with a legitimate shot at playoff success and the ability to feature him prominently in their offensive scheme. If that's accurate, then landing in Washington could be a perfect marriage of talent and opportunity, a scenario where both player and team walk away as winners. There's also speculation around how Olavi's presence might change the dynamic of the locker room. He's known not only for his on-field explosiveness, but also for his professionalism and ability to elevate those around him. Sources close to the Commanders suggest that the coaching staff sees him as a potential catalyst for younger receivers, a mentor figure who can teach route precision, timing, and the subtleties of reading defenses at an elite level. The ripple effect of adding someone like Olavi could be immense. Suddenly, the entire receiving unit becomes more dangerous, and the quarterback gains a weapon he can trust to make plays in any situation. Imagine the shift in strategy during games, the way defensive coordinators will have to rethink matchups, and the kind of pressure this puts on opposing secondaries. It could be a turning point for the franchise, one that fans have been craving for years. Some reports hint at a larger, almost cinematic strategy behind this move. The Commanders are said to be positioning themselves not just for the upcoming season, but for a long-term offensive renaissance. Adding Olavi might be the first step in a broader plan to revamp their passing attack, which could include further acquisitions or developing existing talent around him. The speculation is that management is betting on a high-reward scenario. By investing in elite-wide receiving talent now, they're hoping to create a sustainable window of competitiveness, a period where the team can consistently challenge top contenders in the NFC. The buzz among insiders is that this is not just about one player. It's about crafting an identity, a style of play that is aggressive, fast, and impossible to predict. And Chris Olavi, with his unique blend of speed, hands, and football IQ, seems tailor-made for that vision. Social media has been absolutely ignited by these rumors. Fans are already imagining what the jerseys will look like, what the highlight reels might feature, and how the team could dominate with a revitalized passing game. Some speculate that even the fan base, which has had its share of disappointments, could see a surge in energy and enthusiasm, potentially selling out stadiums and filling the stands with a renewed sense of optimism. There are whispers of merchandise spikes, viral moments, and a general narrative shift that paints the Commanders not as a team struggling to find consistency, but as one willing to make bold, headline-grabbing moves. The hype is tangible, and even skeptics seem to admit that if Olavi lands in Washington, it will be impossible to ignore the transformation. But, of course, every rumor comes with questions. Will Olavi adjust quickly to a new system? How will the quarterback build chemistry with him in a limited off-season? What will this mean for the rest of the receiving core, and how will it impact the team's cap situation? Analysts are torn between excitement and cautious optimism. Some argue that landing Olavi could be a game-changer, while others warn about the challenges of integrating a high-profile talent mid-strategy. Yet, The prevailing feeling among insiders is that the potential upside far outweighs the risks. The sense of anticipation is palpable, and even casual observers are starting to take notice of the seismic implications. The NFL, after all, thrives on bold moves, and this could be one of the boldest of the offseason. It's worth noting that this is the kind of speculation that drives the rumor mill at full speed. The Commanders are a team with history, a passionate fan base, and a desire to break free from mediocrity. Adding Chris Olavi would not just be a transaction, it would be a statement. It would say that the team is willing to make waves, shake up expectations, and potentially change the narrative of its franchise. The league is watching, rival teams are strategizing, and fans are imagining a future filled with highlight reel catches, explosive plays, and a revitalized sense of hope. If this rumor bears out, it may go down as one of the most talked about moves of the decade, a turning point that defines a season and perhaps even an era for the Commanders. The conversation isn't just limited to Washington either. Across the NFL, executives, coaches, and commentators are likely assessing the ripple effects of Olavi's potential move. Suddenly, games against the Commanders carry a new level of intrigue. Defensive coordinators are forced to reevaluate coverage schemes, and even playoff projections might shift. The sheer possibility of Chris Olavi donning the Commanders' colors has opened up a world of speculation about matchups, strategies, and the psychological impact on opponents. Some insiders are already predicting that this could lead to a cascade of further trades, as teams scramble to adjust and respond to what could be a major competitive leap by Washington. In the end, what makes this rumor so compelling is not just the player involved, but the narrative itself. Chris Olavi is young, talented, and on the rise, while the Commanders are a franchise hungry for relevance and success. The combination of these two forces, if it materializes, is almost irresistible from a storytelling perspective. Fans are drawn to the drama, analysts are dissecting possibilities, and the NFL itself thrives on the suspense of high-stakes moves. Even without official confirmation, the energy surrounding this potential acquisition is already shaping conversations, headlines, and social media threads. The mere idea of Chris Olavi in Washington has ignited imaginations, sparked debates, and left the football world buzzing with anticipation. If ESPN's confirmation turns out to be the tip of the iceberg, the NFL may be on the brink of a story that will dominate off-season discussions for months to come. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.